Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Put.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back from the weekend. Hope you had a good time. A lot going on this weekend. I'll get to that in a bit. Today we are looking at a sun sign in Libra, air sign, represented by the card of Justice, and then we have our moon sign, which is in Leo, represented by the card of Strength. The card of Strength is telling us that we need to tame the beast within so that we can make that energy more usable. The color red represents the energy that flows through us. If we allow this energy, this that we often refer to beast-like energy, it also ties in with the idea of the kundalini, which resides at the base of the spine. If we tame this energy and harness it, then we can make it useful. We harness it with our imagination. Okay, so we use our imagination. So fire sign, but we need to use our imagination to tame what's going on energy-wise, to harness it, and it all is for the purpose of being able to express the things in the world that are going to help bring balance to our lives and the world around us. Okay, so that is the sun and the moon sign for the course of today. The moon phase at the moment is 18.1% of the way back down to a new moon. Jewish calendar 23rd of Elul. This is the last week of the month of Elul. Next week begins the new month, the new year. Daily thought for today, the poor man's advantage. Why is it the poor simpleton who has the wisdom to choose the king alone? Because the others sit in the royal waiting chambers and are charmed by the gold and the silver, the velvet and the silk that they find there. Those treasures, those become their requests. But the poor simpleton has no appreciation for treasures. So all he desires is the king alone. So too it is with us. There are treasures of the mind, treasures of the soul, treasures of the higher spheres. But we poor simpletons desire none of these. We desire only to join with the one who made all things, great and small. And finally, space weather, solar wind, 433.3 kilometers per second. Planetary K index, quiet at the moment at a 3. However, we could get up to a storm over the next 24 hours, possibly up to a 5. Large hole in the top of the sun here will definitely be affecting us. Notification says 28th, 29th. M-class flare possibility 1%, X-class 1%. Geomagnetic storm activity, mid-latitude subsiding slightly, 25 down to 20. Upper latitude, same thing, 20 down to 25. So things are slowing a little bit as the universe continues to breathe in and out. So we have air sign, conscious mind. Conscious mind is the things we're thinking about and actively participating in the world. So we are all working out this system of justice according to the pattern that is playing itself out from the astrological, psychological events that are occurring. So we have the conscious mind, which is an air sign, air dealing with words and action. So it's a time, if nothing else, just to take an extra moment to focus on the things you say and the things you do. And ask yourself, are the things you're saying and doing helping you or are they hurting you? And proceed accordingly from there. If they're hurting you, then you need to stop saying or doing those things, because it's important to not do things that are going to hurt us, just as important it is to do and say things that are going to help us. So that's what we're working with today. And of course, the moon sign, we need to harness that energy that is within us. We have a lot of energy. We need to harness it, use our imagination, and that will find its way then through the expression we're looking forward to as we work to balance out our lives. All right, all right. Onward. UFO news is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. Today, I have 4 stories. So the first story comes to us from Wales. Object in question here, UFO giving off heat signature seen flying against the wind by the Wales police helicopter. There we go again, larger distance. I just got this over Twitter a few minutes ago. The police helicopter over Bristol, Wales recorded a dark, round UFO with infrared heat vision this week. It was confusing to them because it was moving against the wind and did not have a heat signature. They even tried to switch to daytime color camera, but it was not visible and could only be seen with the infrared camera. As I have said many times before, many UFOs have a cloak that can only be seen with an infrared converter camera, the same ones that are sold on eBay. The UFO was seen over Bristol Channel and probably came from below water. I am confident that if the police continued to follow it, they would see it disappear into the water and return to the alien base it came from. Okay, so there you go. Objects in question. Any suggestions? Nothing seen by the local ATC. Our clock is out, so okay. So that's what was captured there above Wales. Moving from Wales, let's go check out the air show here in the UK. You can see all the planes doing their maneuvers, and then you have something here which appears to be quite large according to the perspective we're looking at. It says this was my father-in-law was watching a display team flying information over the North Bay in Scarborough, UK. He took a few shots with his iPhone, and when he reviewed them later that day, he noticed the object in question. He did not notice it at the time, and it did not show up in any other frames. I imported the picture into iPhone and my iMac and was able to enlarge the image to show the approximate size and shape in more detail. There were many people watching the display, and it is highly likely that this object was caught by another person with a camera. Okay, so there you go. Nice good image there over the air show in the UK. Here's a story. I don't know what to make of this image, if it is real, if it is staged. A flare off of something, lens flare. This UFO allegedly was soaring high over a busy tram stop, stunned a gardener. A father of 2, Peter Lee, was out with his daughters on Sunday when they spotted the circular silver shape hovering in the sky in broad daylight. The trio were waiting to catch a train when the UFO suddenly appeared around 2 p.m. The unidentified object reportedly drifted into sight and left them in awe. Peter, 57, said they were watching the planes overhead as they waited for a tram. When there was the sudden appearance of the UFO to their view, Peter stated that it was flying high, higher than some planes, and was moving thousands of feet very slowly up in the air. Okay, so there you go. And finally, a story that takes us back to the past. This is the time when Washington, D.C., as the article says, was invaded by UFOs. Okay, we have a nice good 21-minute video here about the occurrence. Many times people ask, if aliens are here, why don't they land on the White House lawn? Well, you may be surprised to know that in 1952 in Washington, D.C. was buzzed by UFOs. Jets were scrambled, but according to the jet pilots, they could not catch the mysterious objects. These UFO incursions took place on several occasions, and one of them, the United States Air Force investigators were prepared to observe the whole affair. Sure enough, they witnessed one of these events over the control tower at Washington National Airport. Perhaps the most thorough examination into the UFO issue was conducted by the U.S. Air Force. They began their investigation in 1948. It was called Project Sign. Then its name was changed to Project Grudge and finally changed once again to Project Blue Book. As for the findings, the Air Force states, as a result of these investigators and the studies and experience gained from investigating UFO reports since 1948, the conclusions of Project Blue Book are that 1. No UFO reported, investigated, or evaluated by the Air Force has ever given any indication of threat to our national security. 2. There has been no evidence submitted to or discovered by the Air Force that sightings categorized as unidentified represent technological developments or principles beyond the range of present-day scientific knowledge. And 3. There has been no evidence indicating that sightings categorized as unidentified are extraterrestrial vehicles. Upon closer examination of the thousands of files released regarding the Blue Book investigations, it becomes apparent that Air Force's conclusions were not shared by everyone involved in the investigation, and that there were some truly fascinating cases that remain unsolved. UFO sightings over Washington, D.C. in July 1952 made worldwide headlines and left the Air Force dazed and confused, according to the head of the Project Blue Book at the time. The event spanned several days, which included multiple radar indications, identifications of unknown aircraft, some of which were correlated by witnesses on the ground. Many of these sightings caused the Air Force to scramble jet fighters, and in each of the cases, the UFOs outmaneuvered the jets. All this culminated into what may be the most important official Air Force UFO investigation of all time. The investigation of the events in Washington, D.C. is best explained in a book written by the lead Air Force investigator, Captain Edward Ruppelt, the head of Project Blue Book from its inception in 1952 until late 1953. All right, a lot more to this, but very fascinating story, as you know. They just couldn't catch up with them no matter what they did. It was like the UFOs were playing games with them, certainly getting their attention, and which they did. So there you go, 4 good stories for you, UFO related. I'll be back, and we shall continue on. Stay tuned, don't go away.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing, but they're losing from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
All right, let's continue on. So, very interesting weekend, wasn't it? Very interesting weekend. Very concerning weekend, I guess would be a better word. I was watching what was taking place in North Carolina. There were some live feeds coming out of there. You can go and you can tune into them right now. And just watching the events taking place, quite chaotic. Indeed, you see there's a lot of fear out there. There's a lot of disconnect. People don't know what to do. They want to do something, but they don't know what to do. And so you've got the groups that are running out there, and you have agitators that are part of these groups. You can tell who are the agitators because of the way that they are agitating a situation. Okay, they're advocating problems. But the people to their credit, aren't falling for all of this nonsense. They haven't pulled themselves into a situation where they're fighting each other in the streets. So that's good. So the work of the agitators is not having the effect that they would like it to have, which is a good thing. So we'll see what's going to go on with it. They're going to keep marching out there, and they're all upset because of the shooting. The videos were released, and so there's not real conclusive evidence that the gun was in the hand of the man who was shot. And then, of course, you have the situation where the guy was shot actually at the event, and some say that this was shot by another person there, another citizen at the event, and the people that are marching that are around there are claiming it was the police that did it. So more altercations and upset there over a difference of story. A lot of chaos, a lot of chaos. So hopefully you can get all figured out. But it's good to see that people aren't falling into the trap so much. There are some. You see your fair share of people that are out there, and you just have to shake your head wondering, what are they thinking? What are they doing? Can they not understand how they're being used? Because you could see there's a community that wants to come together, but they've been hijacked. Black Lives Matter is not an organization that is there to help the black community. Black Lives Matter is an organization that has a very specific agenda. It is funded by New World Order interests. It is not trying to help the black community. If it was, there'd be other activities that they would be doing, and they're not doing those. So it's a ruse that has pulled in a lot of members of the black community, and then they're finding out they've wasted their time with this group who is not anything like what they thought. So it's good to see that people are waking up to the corruption that is out there. And, our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone in North Carolina, because you're going through a tough situation, and hopefully it'll calm down. You'll be able to look at things with a much more calmer demeanor and come to a understanding and a solution to the problems. So that is what is hoped for. Now, here in the United States of America, we've been dealing with our election process, and a lot of scams and information has come to light about Hillary Clinton and her shady past. Well, here's some more information that now locks Obama in as a co-conspirator with her. Says October's surprise comes early. Clinton and Obama revealed as co-conspirators. Irrefutable FBI evidence proves cover-up of classified info exchanges. It's from a blog called State of the Union. It said Obama had a special email handle by which classified info was sent to Clinton's personal email. Obama knew about Clinton's unsecured home server. Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton conspired to set up the home server and her private email account in order to transact secret business completely outside of the purview of the American people and the media. That business was so sensitive because it was patently unlawful, just like the Iran-Contra was, like the Iraq War was, just like the Libyan War was, and just like the Syrian War was. Longtime Democrat insider and political operative. So the FBI released new evidence that points directly to the fact that President Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton colluded to cover up the exchange of classified information using the Madam Secretary's unsecured personal email account. Evidence will be released that proves that the President of the United States knew that Madam Secretary used an unsecured home-based server during the period of time said that emails were improperly exchanged. According to the newly released documents, in an April 5th, 2016 interview with the FBI, Abedin was shown an email exchange between Clinton and Obama, but the longtime Clinton aide did not recognize the name of the sender. Once informed that the sender's name is believed to be a pseudonym used by the president, Abedin exclaimed, "Well, how is that not classified?" The report says, Abedin then expressed her amazement at the president's use of a pseudonym and was asked if she could have a copy of the email. Hillary is complicit. Obama is complicit in Hillary email scandal. There's no question that Obama knew much more about Clinton's private email and home server than he ever admitted. In fact, the president outright lied when he said during prime time that he had just found out about Madam Secretary's email through the media accounts right along with the rest of America. Okay, so interesting article. Again, we have a misdirection of truth from Mr. Obama. A misdirection of truth. You know, hopefully some of this stuff is going to stick here. I mean, it's just amazing that people will continue to get away with one bit of corruption after the other. You have to hope that there's good people out there that are going to step in, right? Okay, here is a story. There had been talk about a meteor hitting the Earth. Now, I don't know if this was the actual one that was being watched. However, there is a story of a meteor that did hit the Earth. It says hundreds of Queenslanders have reported seeing a flash of light in the sky, followed by a tremor. Police received multiple calls from residents in the Gladstone area reporting their houses shaking in what was initially believed to be an earthquake. But Geoscience Australia has since officially ruled out an earthquake. There were reports as far south as Sunshine Coast, with one Nambour man saying that he heard a loud noise and flash of light just before 8:30 p.m. Lanky Jones says the light was very bright and appeared as though the object was burning up in the sky. It sounded a lot like a sonic boom, which would make sense if something were traveling too fast into the atmosphere. I don't know what it was, whether a meteorite or a piece of space junk. I didn't feel the tremor, but that sound did suggest something came down to Earth. It's definitely not something you see every day. Alright, so ball of light falling to the ground, and then Twitter about somewhat temporary tremors. So maybe when it hit with quite an impact. So, falling from the sky, objects falling from the sky. Okay, so the big news for today is the big debate. The big show going on tonight. And it should be quite the show. Maybe like Ali Frazier, The Rumble in the Jungle. Is this one of these events? Obviously, two seasoned individuals when it comes to addressing crowds of people. We'll see how they're going to deal with the situation. I'm sure that they've both been preparing for quite some time. I think it'll be quite fascinating. So just some of the things for you to be aware of. NBC gaming the optics with custom Podium to enlarge Hillary Clinton's stature. Okay, so the comparison of both debate podiums reflects one that is visibly larger and taller than the other, and the debate standing platform is evident as the stage is being set up. There would be some discussion this week about how NBC would physically try to aid Hillary Clinton's optics with a custom-designed debate platform intended to give the viewer a false illusion of scale and scope. A comparison of both debate podiums reflects one that is visibly larger and taller than the other, and a debate standing platform is evident as the stage is being set up. Okay, however, I wouldn't worry too much about the commission. NBC predictably gaming the optics to benefit Clinton. Additionally, it's good to see Bannon and Bossy both on inspection duty. The screenshot below, bottom right corner, they knew the game. They're both fully aware this is an away game scheme. Alright, so this is going to be one of the battles over the podium battle. And then, of course, here's a page that you can use this link to follow up through the course of today. This is over at Breitbart, and we know that Breitbart, one of the persons involved with Breitbart, is now with the campaign, so you get nice, good, up-to-date information. And here you can have your updates. Welcome to Breitbart's live updates of the 2016 election. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton will finally face off one-on-one for the first time at Hofstra University at tonight's much-anticipated presidential debate. Stay tuned for the pregame, in-game, and post-game coverage. All right, so you can check that out throughout the course of the day. See what's going on over there. It should be quite the show. Should be quite the show indeed. And hopefully it'll be more than just a show. Hopefully it'll get down to business, really address the topics, and let people see, who really is being honest with the people. And all right, then one last piece here, election related. It says Trump army planning to flood polling stations with red. When after the 2012 election, it was discovered that there were oddities in the voting, such as 59 different Philadelphia voting divisions where Mitt Romney got 0 votes to Barack Obama's 19,605, including reports like that from a poll watcher in Pennsylvania who told WND up to 10% of the ballots cast at the polling station were reverted to a default which gave Barack Obama a vote no matter who the voter had selected. On the report from Chicago elections worker Steve Pickeram, who told WND as an equipment manager for the election system, he was called when a voting machine malfunctioned. He said in early voting, when I did work on the floor when voters needed help using the equipment, I was able to see the preference of the voter, and every time I saw that the voter voted for Romney, a voter saved failure message came up on the screen. Then when he went on election day to vote himself, he picked Romney and experienced the same error message. He reported he never experienced an error when the voter was choosing Barack Obama. There's no doubt questions continue to arise, with CBS in Colorado reporting just this weekend the results of review of voters who are dead, nevertheless still submitting mail-in ballots. All right, so goes on to say here, let's get to here. It says at Donald Trump forums.net was the advice. Some have suggested all the Trump voters wear red to vote in. Most voting polls do not allow campaigning for candidates, but if we do something to identify as a Trump voter, we can see how many are at the polls. If we support is overwhelming, it will show. All right, so good ideas. People are thinking ahead because, like, one thing we know for certain, it's a big match. Hillary cheats, the Democratic Party cheats, they're going to try to cheat. It's just a given, okay? It's just a given. That's just what they do. It's how they roll. So it should be no surprise to anybody when they make an effort. But just because somebody tries to do something doesn't mean they're going to succeed. It just means that they don't have any other plan or way of achieving what they want without doing that. So they try to bend the rules. So people are going to be paying attention. I'm pretty certain that there's a lot of people out there that support Trump a lot more than people have been willing to admit at times. So stay tuned for that tonight. Get the popcorn ready. I think you'll see quite the show. Indeed. I think we're all going to see quite the show. All right, so now let's change our gears here to looking at some energy again. The article, you're going to see the greatest polarity occurring now. It's from Lisa Brown. It says you're going to see the greatest polarity occurring now, especially of the different dimensions as we enter huge amplification energies again. The old unconscious ones are going to go to greater extremes to break the energy of these realities, while the higher dimensional realms are going to become more magnificent, more profoundly awesome. This has to occur. You're going to see a collective level, huge things, more bizarre things. This is how these frequencies work. As we go, this will continue as more souls further wake up. The humanness is what must break. Keep in mind why things occur. Remember the strength of stubborn, selfish lack and separation energy. This is what is being broken. So hearts can open. The body can release more to open to listening, honoring, connecting, and acting from this place. You will see the extinction of old human everything. It has to die. Yes, literally, if this is what the soul chose, this is not going to be an easy time for many. Each must go inward. Each must connect. Each must stop fighting themselves, for that's when the fight and struggle ends. Consciousness shifts every reality, and whatever it takes is the frequencies we moved into a few months ago. There's collapsing timelines, which means many things for those who are intentionally collapse. It's easier because it's leaving the old behind. We have the new earth is a collective of those constantly stepping up, constantly contributing, constantly holding the highest vibration intentionally, and intentionally cleansing and clearing whatever is ready to be seen or needs to go. Okay, so this is a very good article. I'm going to leave the rest to you. But it sums up and really talks about all the energy that we've been discussing for a while now. We're in this sea of energy. Great change is upon the sea of energy. Okay, we could see it reflected physically in the space weather, how the wind moves. So we definitely see there's a movement of this energy. Wind is information that is moving and expressed in different ways and different actions. Now, here we are learning to deal with all of this energy, and as this article gets to, the more that we can learn to understand how to step up with this energy is by letting go of the things that are holding us back. Basically, let go of the anchor, we'll start, flying. And the anchors are often the baggage that we have because we get so attached to this physical world and all of the physical trappings. And so we don't want to move forward from there because we think that's all there is. That's the illusion. We want to move past the illusion. We want to move past and actually see the reality of what's taking place with life, which is a stepping up of the energy, which means we need to step up with that, or we just get left behind with the energy that's going to be vibrating slower. It's not anything other than that. It's our keeping up with the energy that is moving and evolving. Either we keep up with it or we don't. Either we keep up with it or we don't. And that finally brings us to a meditation for today. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath and exhale. Take another breath and exhale again. And another breath and exhale. Now as you breathe in and out, feel the lightness of the breath and feel as it moves throughout your body the denseness of the physical form. And as the air moves through and then finally back out again into the world, we're able to understand that this physical form has many ways that it uses energy. And as we are more conscious of the way in which we use the energy that flows through us, we find our effect in the world is even greater. Because rather than just allowing the energy to flow through without any direction, we make it useful. We co-create with it and participate in the process. So let's just look at the energy all around us that flows through us from the inside out that reflects back to us from the outside in. Let's just imagine our selves receiving and sending out this energy that recycles through us. Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, thank you for the blessings of life. Thank you for the love that flows through each and every one of us and the opportunity to participate in your dreams of creation. We pray this day that all beings are able to find better ways to channel the energy that flows through them, that they might find their lives being positively affected. So let us go into the world this day focused on the energies around us and thinking about how we process this energy that flows through us and reflects to us. And just find ourselves in balance with that. So let the subconscious mind continue on that journey. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's the show for today. Thank you very much for being here. Get the popcorn ready for tonight. The debates should be quite interesting. We should learn a whole lot more about both of them this evening. We'll see how it goes, and tomorrow I'm sure we'll have something very interesting to talk about. Have yourselves an awesome day. Till then, I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.